Junk Journal video part 3. These little guys are tucked into what some people call a belly band because it's in the center of the page, and this was a scrap from a greeting card, and this was the edge of fabric that you normally trim off and just throw away. It almost always has some sort of printing on it. And it's an ad for some robes, some carefree robes. So I fashioned him with his little non sequitur. Oh, that was from a book page too. The fly page of a book. He's very particular about the way he dances, you know. There was a point where I was making a bunch of these little paper dresses out of different scrapbooking paper, and for the reason I don't remember, I think it might have been I was trying to make a garland or something, but that never came to pass, so those ended up in a box somewhere. This page was just from the quilting book showing you what configuration to sew your squares together. Sheet music, some hand stamped tissue paper, scrapbooking paper, a cupcake liner, and that's from the old magazine. She's a book clipping too on a greeting card base with graph paper pages. And a cardboard circle all tied up. More greeting card bits, wrapping paper here. And this is a Atlas index page. Book clipping. This big circle is folded in half. It's a piece of wrapping paper. And I didn't really understand at the time that I probably should have lined it with something so it isn't so flimsy, because stuff does not want to stay tucked in there. So in the future I'll know that. A piece of black notepad paper with a castle, little rainbow on it. This thing refuses to stay tucked in there. It drives me nuts. This was at a front door of a business where usually people leave their business cards and things, and I just rather like that. I'm not exactly sure what it's for, what it's promoting. And this, I glued this on the back because it was blank. It's a gourmet candy bar wrapper. I like the colors in it, the orange and the aqua. They appeal to me a lot. This little banner was on a Trader Joe's flyer. More scrapbooking paper, quilt magazine, and she was in a how to sew book, and this is showing off her lovely turban. He's from the dictionary, also wearing a turban, and I just like the two of them in the same shot together, how different it is with the same kind of headwear. This piece was from some inks that I had purchased. That was the packaging for it. Some black and silver, a little ruffle of tissue paper. The whole page here is a paint sample card that you can get when you're buying paint at the home improvement store. And this line is from a self-help book, and she's from junk mail mailer that was for, I believe, a shipping company. But I've been waiting to get the perfect thing on this side that she could be, supposedly awkward about looking at. So that has yet to make itself known. I've been done with this book for a while, and I haven't come across anything, but I think I'll know it when I see it. This is from an IKEA instruction page on how to put together an office chair that we have. A book page envelope that has just a little scrap there in it, and it's only glued right here on the sides and on the ends so that there's also a pocket behind it, which is holding 2 blank cards. These colors all went together rather well from the same highlights kids book, so I just put those together. This is one of those little bags you buy if you wanted to give out treats at a party, and an ad from the magazine here. And the inside, this is actually just scrapbooking paper that I made sure that it was rectangular by, I think I had to add this piece onto it, and this is sort of the feature picture, and drew this line here so that it would look more like a postcard. And that's an actual canceled stamp that I got a couple of years ago on a Valentine from my sister. So yeah, I saved things for years. Not happy with this page. She's from a sewing pattern, but I have the map index here, and this is an old planner. So not every page is going to be great, so this is one of the non-great ones. Some sort of little character there. And this wallet comes right out of the vellum, you know, folder that it's in, with the sheet music in the back. And some of my favorite text and pictures that are from different sources. This next guy is actually one of my favorite little things. This is from the Quilt book, and he is like either a hyena or a wolf or a coyote or something from one book, and then this little paragraph from a kid's book about a little pampered, spoiled dog. And I just like the two together like that. And this little wallet thing was just some scraps sewn together. All right, so this is the one exception of using scraps and junk and clippings. I just was so hot on the idea of having a paper doll in the book that I actually went out on the internet and found Flora and printed her and coffee dyed this to make it look old and grungy. So she's got her little outfits here. And this girl was actually a different book entirely, but she sort of looked like a doll, so I put her in. And Flora's got a 2-page spread here, because I also took her, a second printing of her, and cut her all out and put her together with some brads so she could move. And this magnet holds her in place, and it also holds this little arm, because there's a magnet right under this hand thing here. This keeps the page from closing all the way. A little bling, a little fabric patch, and she's on the back of the calendar. Various miscellaneous scraps on this page. This page is just as it came out of the book because of the interesting fonts and letters there. Scrap things glued down. Tissue paper stamped, plain white tissue paper that I hadn't stamped and then glued it down. These guys are from the Drawing People sketchbook, and they sort of have the same size picture, and they're on some to from tags with some brads to connect it. This envelope, I had made a bunch of paper from leaf printing, where you take an actual leaf from a tree, various shapes and sizes, and you roll paint on it, and then you press it on the paper. So I had a bunch of paper like that, so I made some envelopes out of it, and here's one of them. This is a piece of wrapping paper and a Hallmark bag, a little graphic there, and then this is from inside of a book with some fun yarn on it. Trader Joe's graphic, a little flip. I normally wouldn't do something like this where you could just see the back. This is the old greeting card, but you know, there just comes a point where if it's going to be on the inside, that's okay. A little piece of map on scrapbooking paper. Greeting card. Stamp Collector magazine. And this is just utilizing pieces of scrapbooking paper that were just in the scrap box, and sewed some actual little pieces of fabric on and some little windows there. This image I've been saving for literally years, and I didn't want to just put it anywhere. I wanted to make sure it was the focal point of something because I thought it was neat. Again with the speckled eyed paper and copper tape there. some book graphics with a little homemade frame with those rivets. Random little things pasted down. This came from the dictionary. It's the sign language alphabet, which I artificially aged. Scrapbook paper. I sprayed a little glitter on it and did some stamping. This is a to from tag. A pocket with some lace glued on the edge and a pearl button. These are Starbucks stir sticks, and I painted them with some, I sprayed ink on them. I'm sure you could do it with paint or anything. And this is using it as a bucket list, which is really the only personalization that's in this journal yet. So, but I'm sure you could use it as, you could put favorite quotes on it or anything. And I don't normally like to see my own handwriting too much. And this is block letters, so I don't really care. On the inside, this is pretty much the only picture of a bucket I could locate, and it's not great. So I put it on the inside, hoping that someday I would come across a nicer picture of a bucket to put on the bucket list here. Another vellum pocket. And this was a greeting card. And the green edging is actually some satin ribbon sewn down. Wrapping paper, some spool and labels. That was an extra print off from a project I had done, and I made this to look like a tea bag, but it's really just paper. And she's wearing her little contraption here. But this is from that sewing book to help you determine your body type. And I thought that went well together, rather funny. And the tea bag has the letter T stamped on the front of it, so. And that's supposed to look like it's going into the cup. And the other side of the leaf printing envelope, so you can see that a little better. That was very fun to do. And this entire mini book, the whole outside of it was one cardboard from packaging from some product. Little jewelry binding and paper and embellishment. And a little mini picture from a book, these geese. Post-it note, a little lace. And a picture of this lion with a dog on his lap. Rather cute. Page turner tag. And another heart like the beginning of the book's heart, so for continuity, just for a beginning and ending feel to it. The end.